need you up here for one moment. Because how many of us actually wear our labels on our forehead? Are you aware you're wearing your label on your forehead?
I found this in the parking lot on the way in today, and something else which I'm not going to mention. Joan knows what it is, but it's a lab. So think about lifetime warranties.
So that's what it says, lifetime warranty. Sitting in the front there, I could read it. I'm sure not all of you have these X-ray vision eyes. That's great. So it comes to beg the question: if you had to wear a label on your forehead, what would that be? Yeah. So let's have a look what we have here. Let's play a little game. Who wants to play a game? Careful what you ask for. So why don't we start with, you're quite mobile, you're more mobile than most of us, so why don't we start with all the women on that side of the room and all the men on that side of the room. Let's see how we go. Come on. So we're having women on this side and men on that side. All right, you got to, all right, men that side. All right, and if you're honest with yourself and you say that the other half of you is stronger than what you think you are, stay where you are. Good. That's what we're going to be talking about. So those women who think their masculine side is stronger can stay there, and those men who think their feminine side is stronger can stay there. All right. Gosh. If you need to find chairs, we don't mind if you cross over the floor a bit. So the question for you here is, which group has more power?
We do.
There's nothing shy about these women. And on this side here, what's your take on that?
We know better.
All right, you know better. So the question is, how do we define power? We use the word, how do we define it?
The ability to do. It's the ability to do.
The ability to do. What are you doing on this side? Okay, any other ideas? How do we define power?
Strength to hold your own.
Strength to hold your own. That's, yeah.
Tangible proof.
Tangible proof. That's interesting. Okay.
The ability to change your life.
The ability to change your life. Great. Freedom. Yay.
Channeling love.
Channeling love. Ooh, that's interesting. Yes.
Being connected to the source and letting your natural self flow through.
Now I can understand why you're on this side.
Life.
Life. Come on, can we have some ideas of power from this side, please? Confidence.
Ability to influence others.
Be willing to submit to a belief. Ah, okay, interesting one. All right, let's see what this. Oh, yes.
Grow hair in your ears when you get older because you heard enough.
and not give a damn about what other people think. Perfect. All right, so it's not really a trick question, although it is one. I'd say it depends how you spell power. It's spelled with a small p or a capital P. Okay, because I think we use the word power often incorrectly and often quite loosely. And so, my talk's about rebuilding personal power, but what is power? If you're going to rebuild a thing, what are you trying to rebuild? You know, it's like freedom. What is freedom? I spoke about that last time I was here. What is freedom? And that's what this, the book's about. So, typically, power, when spelled with a small p, is defined as, okay, the quote here, the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality. That's what you basically said. Okay? That's with a small p. So when we talk about a powerful man, when spelled with a small p, we're saying nothing more than he has the ability to act in a certain way, for example, to chop wood or to lead an organization. All right. Or to go and hunt and feed you. So if that's what power spelled with a small p is, what does it mean spelled with a big P? And I think some of you ladies got that. So I'm going to read that out. And
Connected to spirit.
so power is an elusive thing. Would you agree, men? Teachers of the Toltec wisdom tradition from the pre-Aztec Central American civilization have tried to define power. Power is neither invisible nor visible. Power can be felt, but then again, it's not a feeling. Power is both an object and not an object at the same time. Power can only be known through direct experience. To talk about power is meaningless. And as power is a force, yet at the same time is not a force, it becomes virtually undefinable. Okay, so you see the women fully understand this. The men are thinking, what have you just said? Okay, all right. So therefore we think of power as an attribute or a quality of the creator, of infinite intelligence, of spirit, of source, of divine, or of God, or the unknowable, whatever you choose to call this unknowable thing. And interesting enough, I gave this something along these lines, a talk. I was in Oaxaca in Mexico last month. Those of you know it, a wonderful place, great cultural, the Oaxaca Lending Library. And there was Father Bruce was in the audience, and he's of the Episcopalian Church faith. He was listening to this woo-woo stuff. And so he said, you know, it's quite similar to what the Bible says. And I said, I know, because I actually put it in here. And it says, if this sounds too out there, adherents of the Bible are invited to think about the words in Matthew 18:20, where Jesus says, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them. And in Luke 1:35, the Holy Spirit will come on you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. So the power of the Most High is what we refer to as power in this book. So an appointment and power, which is what this series of books is about, may therefore be considered as a meeting between 2 or more people where the power of the Most High is manifestly present. So think about those times when you've actually been in conversation with another person or 3 people or something, where it just goes like magical. You're speaking about that, you come up here and just let go and see what power does. And that's kind of that attribute, the attribute of God or the creative intelligence or the divine, whatever we call it. And it arrives when it feels like arriving. It's something we can't control. We can deny it, but we can't control it. Okay, it's something, it makes itself present, but we can never fully know it. All right? So I believe that power, as we're seeing in this room, is actually a female energy. Guys, don't fret too much. Strength is a male energy. And we have a bit of both in us, you know, and it depends on where we are as blended beings these days. So we look at it as well on the Taoism, on the yin-yang scale, like yin is lunar, feminine, passive, intuitive, submissive, right brain, compassionate. Those are elements of power. Yang is the solar, the masculine, the active, the analytical, the dominant, the left brain, the aggressive. Those definitions. So in the power of yin, on the internal martial arts, the yin arts, which is training the mind, cultivating spirit, have always understood that to cultivate power, you need to periodically turn inward. So men as doers, because we're trained as doers, we go and fix things, we go and hunt, we go and kill our prey, we go and drag it home, and we're always actively doing things. Whereas I think the women know, or those who embody power know, that it's an internal energy, an internal force. It's in that silence where we really connect with power. It's in the not doing as opposed to the doing. So the challenge, and I do these workshops for men a lot, is how do we as men get into touch with that? Because we each have a balance of that within us. So with this space and quietude, we can develop the relationship to our inner world. We can process and let go of how life has affected us. We can get clear on our deep motivations. We can reconnect with that consistent witness self. I call that the God self. That is less swayed by the comings and goings of life. We can realign to our center, and we can house our mind back into the body, cleansing the doors of perception so we can be refreshed when we re-engage with life outside of ourselves. So there's a beautiful quality of yin. And centers like this and the workshops we do and meditations we do and the healings we do is about reconnecting. So we take that out. So the other one I like as well is in Hinduism. And who is power and who's the feminine energy in Hinduism called? Shakti. And Shiva is her consort, Lord Shiva. So it's Shakti and Shiva. So Shakti means power, energy, or force. Mythologically, Shakti is always described as feminine, often personified as the goddess, Devi, the divine feminine consort of the divine masculine god, Shiva. So that's kind of an interesting concept. We don't in our Western world, we use the words clumsily, because in our lexicon in English, we don't really have words for these things. So we say we have the divine feminine and the sacred masculine is the closest we're coming to using these terms. And we talk about the yin, the yang, the Shakti, Shiva, and we kind of drift around. So question around this, if we're wanting to rebuild our power, how do we lose our power? So how do we lose our power? That's an interesting one. We give it away, absolutely. How do we give it away? We acquiesce. Okay. Why is it that the women are answering this question and not the men? Smart enough to shut up. Okay. But that's kind of, I think, where we are as we're moving. Or no, we're in the age of Aquarius. That female energetic dominant era now. And age of Aquarius is also the age of technology. It's kind of curious. Where we've moved out of the Piscean era, around about 2000, the rock musical Hair, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, that kind of started coming through, and I believe we're firmly in that now. So we're in the era, the Me Too movement and so on. We're firmly in the era where the women are coming into their power. I'll use these words and kind of see what Spirit says. Yeah, because women always had power, but now coming into it and fully claiming it, and men are being challenged. And I think men are being challenged as that Piscean energy is being removed at an astrological global level, men are not being supported energetically as they used to be. And we're having to do different kind of work now. We have to go within, because we all have power within, we all have strength. We're a combination of yin and yang. I've separated the room here. We're actually not separate beings, all right? It just means that to come back to God, come back to unity, come back to one, is we need to work on the opposite aspect of how we define ourselves to find that inner balance. Women are naturally coming into that. We're in Age of Aquarius. It's going to happen naturally. Men, we're going to have to do our work to find that inner place, that inner balance, the place of finding that peace. How we've done it in the past. If we want power, guess what we do? We bully. Yeah, we bully. We dominate. We use our strength to overpower and dominate and bully women to steal the power from them. Much easier than doing our own inner work and having to reconnect with the infinite source, infinite power there is in the universe. So we go out and bully. And we're seeing how we're doing with that at the moment, aren't we? Things are changing really rapidly, and we're going to see more and more of this. So I think for men to, how do I say this diplomatically? For us to remain relevant, we're going to have to do our work and find that real inner strength, that inner stillness, the divine feminine within. And for women as well, as we know, in any situation, my situation when I came out as a gay man about 25 years ago, I had so much suppressed anger and resentment and fear within me that the pendulum just swung completely the direction. I became quite chaotic and quite manic and got fired for being an asshole in my company. Okay, so because I was out of control. So the challenge, I think, for women as well is, having been suppressed for so long, centuries, to don't let that pendulum swing wildly across the other side, but try and find that balance in between, as hard as that's going to be. And also to have the empathy, because when we're in a place of anger or resentment from how we've been controlled or manipulated through fear-based conditioning, conformance and compliance, coming out as a gay man, I was in that conformance compliance of having to be a certain way in a corporate environment. When that fear broke is when I could actually live an authentic life. But whilst in that fear, I became more and more angry. And that anger, in the Chinese medicine 5-element cycle, it controls empathy and sympathy. So we're in a place of anger because we've been controlled and manipulated for so long. It really also limits the ability to show empathy and sympathy. So I'm going to ask women to look at your men folk and say, hey, okay, these guys having to find a new way, a new path, come in tune with the age of Aquarius, find that inner center, that inner peace, that inner stillness, and find a new dispensation in their whole reality here. So I think we're coming to that balanced place. And with that, and as Sunny was saying, when you stand up here, you go completely off your notes and off track, so why bother bringing them up here? So I think part of that rebuilding power is each of us to remember who we really are. That before we were born, before conception, we're both the blend. We were complete expressions of God, of infinite wisdom, infinite spirit. We were both the yin and the yang, the Shakti and the Shiva, the divine feminine, sacred masculine. When we came onto planet Earth, that separation happened. Maybe we chose as soul beings. I'm going to come in as a man this time, or as a woman this time, or whatever, a gay man or a straight man. So now our task is to remember and reclaim who we really are. That incredibly godlike beings. That God is within me. I am God. That Shirley MacLaine, Atma Lim movie. Just say, I am God. And the challenge she went through with that. And I found that quite a powerful moment watching that movie. So this afternoon's workshop is going to be a little bit around what do we need to do that. And I'll go a little bit as well and try and get back on track of how and why we actually lost it in the first place. But I think I want to leave that with you. So find that one thing you can do to find compassion for both yourself and for that separated aspect within you. The archetypal female, the separated aspect is the sacred masculine. The archetypal male, the separated aspect is the divine feminine. We go and find that within ourselves and actually work on that to become complete whole beings and once again godlike and one with source. And I think once that happens, we're ready to go home or have another incarnation here in the same body. What fun. All right, well, thank you very much for